Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Sportscast, brought to you by the Outspoken Network. This is your host, Brian. Man, I am so glad to be on with you tonight. It's just me. It's a solo edition here, Tuesday night, getting ready for the first week of the NFL, guys. I'm super stoked to be here and super stoked that this season has started this week. You got college football over the weekend, the last 2 weekends. You got football is back, and my gosh, it doesn't get any better than this pumpkin spice right around the corner. It's a good time of the year. Hope you guys have had a fantastic Memorial Day or Labor Day uh, weekend here. If you're just going back to work today, my kids are actually off on Monday and Tuesday. They go back to school tomorrow, and my wife is thinking, thank the Lord Almighty. I did not have off, so that's just nothing new for me. But let's get into some football, guys. This episode, we're going to talk about the storylines headed into the NFL season, and then we're going to go over the games of the week this week, and give you my predictions for the week one of the NFL, and go from there. We'll talk a little bit about maybe what's going on in my life at the end of the day. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's jump into it. I look at some storylines headed into the season this year, and there's plenty, and then there's always a plethora of storylines. These are the ones I wanted to talk about. I think number one is the rookie head class, quarterbacks headed into the NFL this season. I think this class, this draft class, these quarterbacks are going to be an interesting to watch. They're a more interesting group than we've seen in a really long time. You got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, Penix Jr., Drake May. You got all these quarterbacks coming in, and I think this draft class in itself um, are going to have, I think, three good quarterbacks out of the five. Now only time will tell. Um, Obviously, you got Caleb Williams getting drafted number one all over to the Bears, and I've talked about it before, and I'll talk about it again. Caleb Williams has flashes that his game is going to carry over to the NFL. In the preseason, he had some flash plays that you go, okay, wow, that was a nice play. And if the Bears had a really good offseason if Caleb Williams hits. Do I think the Bears will be great this year? I do not think so. I think the rookie quarterback is going to have to um, learn some tough lessons. He's going to grow a little bit and progress. But he always had that rookie season where I just don't think he's going to come in and kill it. Some people have him going to the Super Bowl or an NFC Championship game. That's just way too high for me. I think the Bears are 7 to 9 win team this year. I think they're better than they were last season. But Caleb Williams has got to prove it to us, and I do think he's going to be a decent quarterback. They go out and they get a Dunze. They put players around him. They go out and they get Allen from Los Angeles to come in here and be a veteran wide receiver. And they've got to get this defense back to par. Their defense is pretty young, pretty decent as well. So the Bears have an opportunity if this quarterback Caleb Williams is going to be good to kind of turn that franchise around, and maybe they found the guy. I hope not. Being a Packers fan myself, I hope Caleb Williams flatlines and bottoms out. My co-host Craig tends to think he will. Only time will tell. And anything that happens in the preseason, you got to take with a grain of salt because you're playing against backups and third strings and stuff like that. But um, he made some good throws in the preseason. I will give the Chicago Bears that, and we'll see what happens going forward. Jaden Daniels, I think Washington had one of the best drafts in the NFL this year, one of the best off seasons. They get Jaden Daniels, who won the Heisman Trophy, coming out of LSU. Um, he has a strong arm. He's very confident in his throwing abilities, making deep down the field throws in preseason. I like what I saw from him in college. I think that he could be what the Washington Commanders need. They go out and they get Dan Quinn. They change their head coach. He brings in his buddy to help be defensive coordinator. You've got the weapons that are already there in Washington, and now you got a strong, solid quarterback. Now he's got to prove it, right? Nothing's given. He's still got to prove it, but it looks to be a solid pick in quarterback position. Um, that this team might have found themselves in a really good predicament. And you want to see some growth from them this year. And I think Dan Quinn is going to have them playing at a high level. Do I think that they're going to win the division and compete with Dallas and the Eagles this season? I do not. They probably finish third because the Giants are complete trash and they'll finish number fourth. But what the Commanders, I think, are on the right path of this is the future. We made progression this year. Let's continue to build on that. Let's continue to draft for our quarterback we just got. Let's continue to draft for our defensive coach we just hired. So I think their future is looking pretty bright, and with Washington in this pick. Another guy you got to talk about is Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a guy that I've watched in college quite a bit. We saw him grow up. We saw him progress in college football, to where each year I think he got a little bit better than the rest. And he goes to Oregon, has a really good year there in Oregon. He gets drafted by the Denver Broncos, he was rumored to be drafted there. And I'm glad he did go there. I think this is finally the quarterback that Denver needs. They've been looking for a quarterback ever since Peyton Manning, and they've gone through a plethora. And let me tell you what, if Bo Nix does not work out, I'm not sure how long the GM John Elway is still there, but this looks like it's a perfect fit for the coach, perfect fit for Sean Payton. What I saw from preseason from him, he looks to be competent in the backfield and competent making decisions with the football, whether he's running the ball, making decisions, and throwing the ball. Now, this is one guy I'm going to be watching to see how he progresses. Jeff, being a Denver Bronco fan here, another host of the show, will be watching. We want to see growth and him coming out. I said, Jeff, he looks competent back there. They're playing second string and third stringers. So we'll see. But the hopes are high for Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. And it's always been that we just need a quarterback. And the defense has always been pretty good. We're going to find out what this team is made of. And got to give time for Bo Nix to see if he's going to pan out. But I do think Bo Nix will be a solid quarterback in the NFL. J.J. McCarthy, on the other hand, I do not think he's going to be good. I think his game doesn't transfer well over to the NFL. I don't think he has a big enough arm to make those throws. But he's got injured this year, and he's on a football team that I think is regressing really badly. I think that needs a rebuild. And Sam Darnold's a quarterback this season. I don't think they're going to be very good. They're probably finish third or fourth in the division of the NFC North. They might finish behind the Bears. I'm not sure. Depends on how Caleb Williams is going to do. But J.J. McCarthy, we'll have to talk about next year when we actually get to see him play. He's out the season with a meniscus. Drake May and the Patriots should be worried. Guys, the Patriot fans, the organization in itself should be worried. You got a guy that was drafted number 3 overall, and you're telling me he's not ready to start? You're telling me that he can't beat out Jacoby Brissett to be your quarterback? That's an issue. That's a problem. You draft a guy that high, top five pick as a quarterback, top 10 pick as a quarterback should be starting. Unless you have a guy, right? Atlanta Falcons go out and they bring in Kirk Cousins. Great pickup for them. Then they turn around and they draft Penix Jr. and left us scratching our heads. But that's okay if that's okay. Look at the Green Bay Packers. Favre, they drafted Aaron Rodgers, set behind. It worked out. We had Aaron Rodgers. We drafted Love. He set behind Aaron Rodgers. Now Love looks to be like a good quarterback. I'm not big on the Penix Jr. going there because Penix is a little older and he has injury history. So who knows what he's going to be like in a couple years when he's starting for the Falcons. But if you have a guy already, I'm fine with drafting a quarterback and having him sit. When you draft a quarterback at number 3 overall in the NFL draft and he can't beat out Jacoby Brissett for the starting position, then you got a problem. You drafted him too high. You overreached on him. He's not the guy. Or you look at Jared Mayo and you say, hey, we're playing this guy. He's going to be our starter because we got to know what we got. We know Jacoby Brissett's not the guy. Jacoby Brissett's your journeyman quarterback who's a school bus driver, who's going to keep you in the middle of the pack, maybe, probably a little less, 6, 7, 8 wins. That's it. He's gonna keep you from drafting a really high draft pick to help out your quarterback that you just drafted and spent the number 3 pick on, who's not ready to who's not ready to play in the NFL apparently. If I'm the owner of the New England Patriots, I'm telling my coach, Drake May is the starter, and we may go through some rough times, but we've got to figure out if this guy's it or not. Because you're telling me you drafted him this high and he can't beat out Jacoby Brissett to play quarterback, that is not a good sign for the New England Patriots. That is not a good sign for the head coach and Mayo. Not a good sign at all. If I'm New England fans, I am worried. When you're drafted that high, you're expected to start, no matter what position it is, but especially at the quarterback position. You don't draft an offensive lineman in the first round in the top 10, and then he's going to be our backup. That doesn't happen. He's your starter because you drafted him that high for a reason. Drake May can't beat out Jacoby Brissett. Patriots fans, it is time to worry, and I'd be concerned if I were you. Now, I think they should start Drake May and see what you got, because the answer is not Jacoby Brissett. So, or we're just going to sit around one more year and hope that Drake May learns something and can beat him out next season, and you're starting that clock. Because I think if you're going to draft a quarterback that high, I think you got 3 years. 3 years to figure it out. And most quarterbacks, most people, 3 years is the limit. We know what the guy is. Whether that be fair or not, I think that's kind of my limit too, 3 years. And I'd start that clock this year so you get to understanding if you can see some growth. Yeah, there might be some hard times. There might be some times where you're going to lose a lot of games. And that's okay, because you're not a competitor right now. The Patriots aren't going to compete to win nothing. Their division, a championship, nothing. So figure out what you got in your quarterback room. The draft pick you just drafted, number 3, and if he gets hurt, then you got Jared Mayo. Not Jared Mayo, sorry, that's the head coach. You got Jacoby Brissett. If Jacoby Brissett needs to play, it's because Drake May got hurt. I think it's a bad move from Jared Mayo, and I don't like the move at all, and the decision not to play the quarterback you took at number 3, who can't beat out Jacoby Brissett. It's a bad look, in my opinion. Got a bad taste in my mouth if you're a Patriots fan. So that's my number 1 storyline going into the season, is the rookie quarterbacks, seeing what they're going to do, seeing where they're going to progress, and seeing if they're going to be able to turn these teams around. Number 2 to me is Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers' health. Their team's questions, all their team's answers are if Joe Burrow can stay healthy for the Cincinnati Bengals, and if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy for the New York Jets. Now, Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league when healthy, hands down top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's had a little bit of injury situations going on since he's joined the NFL, but when healthy, he's an absolute beast. They're odds to win the MVP this year. He's pretty high up there. Some people have him winning it. He's going to be able to. This is a team with Joe Burrow that compete against the Patrick Mahomes in the fight to the championship. I honestly agree with that 100%. Aaron Rodgers. I think a healthy Aaron Rodgers with this roster that the Jets have, they were my number 6 team in the NFL power rankings with him healthy. Aaron Rodgers still has some left in the tank, can make smart decisions with the football, and still has an arm to make all the throws in the book. They've got to keep him healthy. They've got to protect him. They've got to keep him upright. With him and Burrow, those 2 teams are dangerous. I think the Jets win their division. I got the Bengals winning their division. My question is, who leads their team to a better season? And I'm going to say Joe Burrow because he's the better quarterback. Plain and simple. He's the better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers is at this stage in their career. Um, they've got a really good football team. They've got to get it figured out with their wide receiver and Jamar Chase, who I think they should pay, but that's just me. Um, but both these guys, I think, win their division if they're healthy. My next question is, will Jordan Love or CJ Stroud go through a sophomore slump? This is a question that's been weighing on me heavily because I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, and Jordan Love, the first 6, 7 games of the season last year, I did not think he was going to be the quarterback that he is now. The last 8 or 9 games, I thought he was amazing. He actually finished to be the best quarterback. If you take the second half of the season, he was the best quarterback out of pretty much any quarterback in the NFL. He had better numbers down the stretch. I think he found his groove. Time will tell about the sophomore slump. He finally got his contract. Some guys let up during, when they get paid. I don't think he will. I think he's got a good chemistry with the football team, and I don't think he will go through a slump. It could happen though. C.J. Stroud had a really good year last year, all year long. Both these quarterbacks, it was strange. They both had to go into the playoff appearance, their first playoff appearance, and they have the same identical numbers, this exact same identical numbers in their first game. Um, they're both good quarterbacks. I think Stroud has probably the better chance of not going through a sophomore slump from what I've seen, as he played a really good 17 games. Um, than Love. Love played a really good second half last year, and I think it'll ease our minds if Green Bay comes out and we see Jordan Love. If Jordan Love comes out and is more um, consistent, we got to see that little second half guy. We got to see him through 17 games, and if you give me that guy this year, then the Packers are a scary football team. C.J. Stroud, the biggest difference is C.J. Stroud has a known defense. He has known weapons. Tank Dell's made himself a name there, and they go out and they get Diggs. He's a good weapon still to have, but I mean, like I said last episode, he can be a cancer. Jordan Love's doing wide receiver by committee, and that hasn't ever worked in the NFL. And then in another episode later down the road, I'm going to tell you why I think it's going to work in Green Bay. But that'll be another step. Another episode. Another question. We've had a lot of wide receivers get paid this year. We have some wide receivers hold outs and hold ends. CeeDee Lamb with the Cowboys before he got paid, he held out. He finally got paid. And then you look at Jamar Chase, and that is a more difficult situation, extreme situation, because the fact that we don't know if Jamar Chase is playing week 1. I don't think he will if he doesn't get paid. He's 2 years out from a paycheck. So you might not agree with him wanting to get paid. Look, he's a good wide receiver, and he's outplayed his contract, but he's also been injured a lot. I would like him to play one more year and then go from there. I think the Bengals would too. But holding out and are holding in and not really participating, and you got to worry if you're the football team. You got to worry if CeeDee Lamb blows his hamstring. If he pulls his hamstring right off the bat, that's got to be concern for the Dallas Cowboy fans. It's got to be a concern for the Bengals fans. Is Jamar Chase playing? With him, we're a way better football team. Without him, we still got some weapons, but they're a better football team with him on the field. Hopefully they can meld that relationship back together, because I think he's feeling disrespected by the ownership. Now he's still got 2 years left, so that's the difference between Lamb and Chase and all the guys that got paid. Is Chase still has 2 years left, So that may make you think a little bit differently. Like show up and play this year, and then next season, show them you're you need to get paid. Um, but he better ball out this year because if they don't pay him this year, and I mean, I'm not paying a guy that just sat out on me. So you need to show why you deserve the paycheck. So those are my storylines, my kind of question marks going into the season. There's a couple for you. Um, we didn't do the question for each team like we did previous years, but that's all right. We did our NFL Power Rankings last week. If you missed the show, go check it out on YouTube. And let's get into Week 1 games, guys. Let's get into it. Week 1's games and predictions. Me and Craig were going to do this together and keep up with who wins, but he's not here right now. He had an emergency to deal with today. So Thursday night football kicks off the NFL season. We got the Ravens versus Chiefs. The Ravens travel to the Chiefs to play. This is a rematch of the NFC Championship game last year, which means Lamar Jackson. And this isn't the NFC Championship game, obviously. It's not a playoff game. So it means Lamar Jackson might actually show up and play better than he did. The new look Lamar Jackson losing some weight. They go out, they get Derrick Henry in the offseason. But I got the Chiefs winning. Going to Arrowhead's hard to win. The Chiefs the Chiefs are the number one team in football until someone knocks them off. You got Andy Reid at home. Last year at home against the Lions, the Chiefs lost that opening week, but the Chiefs will open it up with a win. I think their defense will stifle the offense. I think that the offense will, and you got Worthy as a rookie wide receiver. They have a good connection already with Patrick Mahomes from his practices. They look like they got a really good connection as a deep threat, and I think the Chiefs win this one. I could see maybe the Ravens and their defense playing, winning this game. I think it's more of a 60-40 leaning towards the Chiefs right now, but give me the Chiefs over the Ravens in Thursday night football. Friday night, the Packers play against the Eagles, which is the Eagles' home game, but they're playing in Brazil. Maybe we still haven't heard a confirmation if they are, if they aren't. I'm guessing they are, since we haven't heard anything. There's been speculation. Give me the Packers to win this game. I think the Packers will make a staple win here. They need to come out and say, okay, we are what some people believe we are. Some people. And I want your opinions, guys. What do you think of the Packers? Do you think they're contenders or pretenders? Excuse me. Do you think they're for real or do you not? Because I think they're going to be for real this season. I think a lot of people are underlooking them, and some people aren't. Some people, I've heard some talking heads say that the Packers are going to be something to do with. Tom Brady said they're a Super Bowl contender. So I'm interested to see what the public opinion is on the Green Bay Packers this season. But the Eagles, there's a lot of people that think the Eagles will be really good. I think if the Packers can come out here, play aggressive on defense, really get pressure on Hurts, and this offense starts off where they left off, then I think the Packers win this one. It's going to be a little weird going to Brazil. If you can't watch the game, it's only on Peacock, so you better go get Peacock if you want to watch the game. I already have that, so I got nothing to worry about. All right, Sunday games. You got the Steelers traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons. You got Kirk Cousins' first game there against a pretty tough Steelers football team with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. That is one of their flaws. I think the Falcons win this one. I think Kirk Cousins is going to do good things there in Atlanta. They got a good defense. They had a top 10 defense last season, maybe top 5. I can't remember if they were top 5 or not, but they were in the top 10. They had a really good defense last year. They got offensive weapons. Kirk Cousins is going to make good decisions with the football. They're going to be able to use those weapons a little bit more. I think they win this game. I'm not a big believer in Russell Wilson, and spoiler alert, I do think the Steelers, I do think that Mike Tomlin has a losing season this year, and they break that streak, unfortunately, because your two quarterbacks are not very good at all. Cardinals travel to Buffalo and take on the Bills. I wanted to give the upset alert here and give it to the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray coming back with their new offensive weapon in Harrison Jr. But I didn't want to count Buffalo out. because they're playing in Buffalo. I think Buffalo will win this game and get a job done. Josh Allen, I think it's a closer game than most people think. I'm not a big believer in the Cardinals, and I think Buffalo really kind of flatlines this year with the weapons they took away from Josh Allen and the weapons that they don't have. I think they're going to struggle this year. But give me the Buffalo Bills to beat the Cardinals. I got the Bears at home against the Titans. Give me the Bears. Caleb Williams. I think he's going to win this one. The Titans aren't a very good football team. Um, the Will Levis, maybe he comes in and plays better than Caleb Williams. Maybe. I hope so because I want the Bears to lose. Did you know since 2002, the first round draft picks, since 2002, the first round draft pick QBs have been, I think it's like 0-11-1. They have not won their first game of the season. I think Caleb Williams breaks that streak. I think they get the job done against Tennessee, unfortunately. So give me the Bears. I got the Bengals beating the Patriots with or without Jamar Chase. I think the Bengals win this one. Joe Burrow comes back strong and healthy, and they win that one. Texans to beat the Colts. Now, a lot of people are high on the Colts this year. I've seen a lot of just random hot takes. The Colts will be in the playoffs. The Colts to me are not a very good football team. Texans are on the rise. We saw what they could do last year. C.J. Stroud, this defense. Give me the Texans to beat the Colts. Jacksonville going to Miami. Give me Miami over Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I think they blow it up at the end of the season, especially with their head coach. They're not going to be a very good football team. Saints at the Panthers. Not high on either two of these teams, but give me the Saints to win at home against the Panthers. Vikings and Giants. This was the coin flip for me. They're both going to be bad. The Giants are bad. The Vikings are going to be bad. It's at New York. I almost chose the Giants, but I could not choose the Giants. So give me the Vikings. Chargers and Raiders. Give me the Chargers. Harbaugh's first game of the with the Chargers. Give me them to win it. The Raiders, I'm not high on either. And then you got Seattle and the Broncos. And I wanted to pick the Broncos here, Jeff. I wanted to do so bad because I want Bo Nix to work out for you and be good. I just think the defense of Seattle's going to be tough. I think that the Seattle team will put a lot of pressure on Bo Nix, and I give me Seattle. Something tells me that their team right there is going to be a little underlooked this season. They're going to be a little bit better than we thought. Not great, but better than we thought. And I got them spoiling Bo Nix's first career game as the Broncos. Cowboys versus Browns. I wanted to go with the upset picking the Browns to win this one at home, but I'm not a big believer in Deshaun Watson. Give me the Cowboys winning on the road against a tough defense. That one could come back to bite me in the butt. Give me the Buccaneers over the Commanders. I wanted to go Jaden Daniels here. Give me the rookie quarterback winning, but I think the Bucs defense and Baker Mayfield played pretty good last year at home. I think they're going to get the job done. I think the Rams take out the Lions in Detroit. I think the Rams are going to be underlooked this season. I think they may not be underlooked. Let me rephrase that. They were underlooked last year. They made the playoffs. I think they're going to be a better football team this year. Be more consistent on offense. Stafford still got a little bit left in the tank. We'll see. Give me the Rams. I think the Rams win this game. I think this is the one I might lose, but you can give me the Rams. I got Aaron Rodgers and the Jets finally getting over the hump of the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Give me the Jets to win on the road. First game as the 49ers. I just see some struggle. They struggle a little bit. I think the Jets are excited and hyped to play. Give me Aaron Rodgers finally beating the Jets with his Jets opening debut here, because really last year's 4 snaps did not count. I could possibly see the 49ers winning, the Lions winning. I could see how the Browns might win. But those are my picks. In every week I go, who's going to be the spoiler here? Because there's always some spoiler games. The games don't always go how you think they're going to be, and that's why the NFL is so great. How was your Labor Day, guys? How was your Labor Day? Mine was pretty good. I had a good weekend of watching college football. We had I smoked some ribs. We had my brother over. The ribs are fantastic. It's a good time spending some time with my brother. Um, I watched the Ranger game on Saturday. They walked it off, which was awesome. I love walk-offs. I love being there when your team walks it off. It's a great experience. They walked it off 2 nights in a row. Actually, Josh Young in the next game in the bottom of the 10th hit a 3-run shot to send us on our way. But the Ranger season is over and done with, so it doesn't matter. Um, the LSU USC game was a good game. I thought LSU was going to win this one. Um, Nussmeier played really good. I thought they were going to get the win, but USC pulled it out and upset them. So good job USC. We got some good football this weekend here too. Michigan and Texas. Um, I don't know. I think Texas will win. I think they'll upset Michigan because the offense of Michigan did not look very well this last week. Their defense looked really good, but also they played Fresno State, so it's hard to get that balance as well. Georgia looked outstanding. Clemson looked like a dud again. I don't know. I believe in Clemson. Um, Florida State lost last night to Boston College. Two unranked losses the first 2 weeks of the season. You're done, son. Your playoff hopes are done. All right, guys. Well, that's the show this evening. It's a little bit shorter because it's only me, which is fine. It's 30 minutes here so far. We got the live show on Saturday. We're gonna start testing out something where we don't go live on Tuesday nights and we go live on Saturdays. So stick around for the shows. Listen to them. Let us have your feedback. If you want to get on here and live comment on Saturday show when we live stream. If you want to email us, um, feel free to do so at the outspokensportscast@gmail.com. Um, feel free to let me make sure that's the right email, but feel free to email us. Feel free to do what you need to do to get in contact with us. Um, because I would like some feedback from you guys. I really would. The outspoken sportscast at gmail.com. That is the page, the email. I probably should make a different one since this is a little bit different, but whatever. I digress. All right, guys. God bless. And remember, keep it outspoken.